Good morning, Early Edge family. My name is Sia Nejad. This is the Early Edge, and we are brought to you by BetMGM, the sports book born in Vegas. I see Fantasy Life is in here. Randall Brown, Wu-Tang Forever, Mark Buckholt, Stephen Cook. Thanks for being in here. Let's take a look at how we did yesterday. This is about as even as it gets. We go 3-3-1. Buckets play is a push, of course. Tom Casale hits his play. Mikey B goes 1 for 2. Thanks to Norman Powell sitting way more minutes than he should have. 3-3-1. Listen, it's not a great day. It's not a terrible day, but we got to do better. And we've really done really well all month. Our record this month is really kind of unbelievable. 5-0 the day before. Let's talk about who is helping us do that. Let's bring in the stars of the show because we got Mike McClure in the chat, by the way. Ask him anything you want, but we got Mikey B here. We got Larry Hartstein. We got Tom Casale. And geez, who do I start with here? Larry, I'm going to start with you. The first 4 games, pretty exciting. Well, one wasn't very exciting, and credit to Zach Simony getting North Carolina minus 4.5 right. But that Alabama State game, the Hail Mary at the end reminded me of some Jaden Daniels, Noah Brown action. Too soon, Bears fans. Either way, a pretty good start to the NCAA tournament, right, Larry?
Yeah, excellent start, and it sets up a very interesting North Carolina Ole Miss game in the next round, and a very interesting spread on that game. You know, Tom Casale does what he does. Came in on a 12-1 run, and he hits that under. Shouldn't have been sweaty. Got sweaty a little bit in the last minute for San Diego State, but yeah, I can't wait for tonight. I can't wait for tomorrow.
Speaking of tonight, you got a chance to fill out your bracket, and we've got cbssports.com/early edge. If you go to that URL, it takes you right to a bracket that you can fill out and be a part of our early edge bracket contest. We did a bracket fill-in show, which is in your feed. Very easy to find on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. And then we did a betting show. Tom, you were a part of that. Now, we know that UNC is now advancing. They were a big subject of conversation in yesterday's betting show in particular. What are you seeing with UNC's next matchup here?
Yeah, I think it's a dead even matchup. Obviously North Carolina's playing well. It wasn't about, could they win games if they got in. It's just about the criteria, right? Who should be in and who shouldn't. And yeah, the one thing I would say about Mississippi, I actually like them better in the next round if they win. Their weakness, and we saw it twice against Auburn, is getting back in transition. Auburn didn't quite get them in the third game with it, but the first 2 games, they were able to run them. And I think it'll be interesting to see if North Carolina can do that. So I think that's a dead even game. I'm going to wait on that. The question I have, though, is like, over the last few years, something happened, and we started letting in like 5 Mountain West teams. Why? I really don't understand, because they come in and embarrass themselves every year. I would prefer to see 1 or 2 of those bids go to other mid-major conferences who have really good teams. I don't know. They must have a good PR director or something, because we used to throw a parade when they got 2 teams in. Now they're getting like 4 or 5. I don't know. It just I thought, with all the talk about North Carolina, I thought San Diego State was the worst team in the field.
Yeah, you figure teams like West Virginia were kind of like, throwing their arms in the air, being like, well, like, why aren't we in here? It looked like, Larry, you had something to follow up on.
Well, one of our colleagues, our good buddy Tim Doyle, had a comment about Ole Miss that created quite a firestorm yesterday. Chris Beard responding directly to Tim Boyle's comment that Ole Miss was a fraud. And I have to say, Chris Beard made a pretty good case for why they're not a fraud. But that was kind of entertaining to see Tim Doyle taking the national headlines.
I've been so busy with golf and other shows, I haven't seen that. I can't wait to investigate. Very interesting. Mikey B, we know Tim Doyle is not only a college basketball guy, but he's an NBA guy. You went 1 for 2 yesterday. You've been on fire, but the one you lost, just real quick before we get into your picks, it was the subject of some frustration.
And it hurts me because Norman Powell is my guy. Okay, now you could say, well, he dealt with an injury lately. He played 23 minutes the previous game. So you look at the progression, he's probably going to play between 25 and 30 minutes in the second game back from injury, right? Wrong. He played 18 minutes. 18. Norm, what are you doing? He scored 11 points in 18 minutes. He was on fire when he was out there, but he was stuck to the bench. It's the landmine that is the month of March in the NBA. It's fun. It's frustrating. We'll get back at it tonight.
All right. B Germ 78 says, do not forget to join the Discord if you're a SportsLine member. Amazing access to the experts in a great community. Let me remind you, if you type in the promo code Casale, you get 50% off any membership. This is if you're not a SportsLine member already. And then, Ben, let's throw up the Discord, because this is like really probably one of the most important times to be in the Discord during March Madness, obviously. And we got MLB season coming up, NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs. We got channels for each and every sport. Discord.gg/SportsLine. Of course, there's a golf chat too. I might add a first round leader, more on that later, but I usually put some stuff in the Discord. Again, to get in the SportsLine Discord, you got to be a SportsLine member and then go to discord.gg/SportsLine. All right, let's get to some picks. Mikey B, we go back to you again. You've been on fire. It is hard to judge some of these coaching moves sometimes, but nonetheless, you got 2 props for us.
You want to talk about an exciting game tonight. We got both props from the same game. Bulls, Suns. Bulls playing for the 9th seed in the Eastern Conference. The Suns playing for the 10th seed in the West. 2 mediocre teams. We love this. So let's do some betting here. First, we're going to do Devin Booker over 26.5 points at -105. Bradley Beal is out. He's going to miss at least 1 week for the Suns. With him out Monday against the Raptors, Booker scored 27 points. Over the last 7 games that Booker has played without Beal, he's averaging 27.7 points. Great matchup here against the Bulls, who have played at the 3rd fastest pace and have the 8th worst defensive rating in the league. The last time he played them, he had 29 points. So I think we're going to get another big scoring performance for Devin Booker. Now, he's a big name on the Suns side. On the Bulls side, not a big name. Trey Jones over 17.5 points and assists at -115. He has started 7 straight games for the Bulls. During that span, averaged 15.3 points and 6.9 assists. In terms of this prop, he had at least 18 combined points and assists in 5 of those 7 games. And the 2 that he just missed was 16 each. The Suns' defense stinks. They have the 5th worst defensive rating in the league. Josh Giddey here is questionable for the Bulls. This would be his 4th straight missed game if he is out. The Bulls also play tomorrow, so I don't think he's going to play both games of back-to-back set. If he's out, I think Jones blows by this line. Even if Giddey plays, Jones is going to start with Lonzo Ball out, and I like him to go over 17.5 points and assists.
All right, we got 2 NBA props. We got a lot of people dropping knowledge in the chat, including some golf knowledge. Anthony Davis says the PM wave, he's talking golf, of course, the Valspar, will see wind in the 1st and 2nd round. Yeah, we addressed this in a huge way yesterday on the betting show. That's, of course, the early wedge. I do want to remind everybody it's Wednesday. So the live chat, where we are going to talk about whether it's going to be me, Rick Gaiman, and Patrick McDonald, it's right after this show, right on this channel. So make sure if you're in here right now, thanks for being in here, just roll it on over. At 10:30, we are going to be doing the golf live show. And this is a really good time to catch it because there's all kinds of betting angles and DFS angles with this weather that was referenced by Anthony Davis. Numbers edge in here. Of course, Mike McClure. Anthony Davis touting golf is big news for the Dallas Mavericks. Yeah, Anthony, I didn't even make the association. Anthony Davis from the Dallas Mavericks is in here. That's pretty interesting. All right, Tom Casale, let's get to some college basketball. You're delivering on another prop today.
Yeah, well, first of all, credit to Mikey B and guys like Larry who are picking winners in the NBA. Listen, man, I gave out the Raptors on HQ the other night. That team didn't even try. I don't know about. Listen, that's the worst league in sports right now. It just is. The players have way too much control. I mean, who wants to watch games where guys don't even try? What do you got, Larry?
I got a quick solution to that. Cut the playoff teams in half, and then the regular season would mean something, and then guys wouldn't be sitting out all the time if you had 8 playoff teams, but of course they'll never do that.
Yeah, go ahead, Mikey B.
I've got one. The bottom teams that don't make the play-in tournament, because the NBA loves tournaments, they have another tournament at the end of the season to determine who gets the first pick in the draft.
Oh, I like that.
You win the tournament, you get the first pick. You come in second, you get the second pick. It's in descending order. And the players who are in that quote-unquote championship game, the winning players get $250,000 each. The losing team gets $100,000 each. Boom.
Well, there you
Something
go.
to play for.
I mean, if you're not going to try for a whole month, I mean, come on. People want to see teams try at least.
The Jazz haven't been trying since Christmas. The Jazz have not been trying. Christmas came, the calendar turned, they benched everybody.
It's not great.
One team I know who's going to try tonight is Texas. I I took a prop here. I gave it out on Discord at 5.5. It's going to be 6.5 for you now. I still like it at that number. Arthur Kaluma over 6.5 rebounds. He's gotten at least 7 rebounds in 5 of 7 games, but it's really the matchup I like. Xavier is the worst offensive rebounding team in the Big East. They rank 317th overall in the country. Their game is around the perimeter. They're going to take perimeter shots. They're not going to crash the boards. So I just think Kaluma plays the second most minutes for Texas. It's a tournament game. He's not going to sit much. I think he's going to dominate on the boards. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets 10 plus tonight. So the number opened really low at 5.5. Now it's about where it should be at 6.5, but I think it goes over both of those numbers.
All right. We got Kaluma over 6.5 rebounds. If you were in our SportsLine Discord, again, you got it at 5.5. All right. Let's see. We've got some picks in the chat. Mark Gillett says, I hate UNC. Go Wolfpack. All right. Joe Neuenfeld says, what's up to Anthony Davis? Good luck on the Mavs. Good morning, Dodgers. Dodgers, I guess, 2-0 on the season already. And Big Cheesy. And don't forget, we're going to have all the MLB coverage you want day to day with all of our MLB cappers. That includes Mike McClure, of course, Matt Sniper Snyder, and, of course, Amags. Big Cheesy says, Jared Allen over 13.5 points at even money. Mikey B, any thoughts on this play?
Second game of a back-to-back set for the Cavaliers, so we've got to be a little bit cautious there. I don't mind it. It's even money, but we just got to watch for those inactives and actives for the Cavaliers.
Yeah, fair enough. Numbers edge. Mike McClure says, Kaluma 10-plus rebounds is plus 340. That's a nice number.
Yeah, I don't hate that.
Speaking of nice numbers, how about 250,000? BetMGM will be giving out $250,000 in bonus bets. For each round of March Madness, you can make predictions on game outcomes and over-unders. You'll earn points based on a scoring system, and you could win a share of $250,000 in bonus bets based on your points earned. Just make sure to enter the March Matchups $250,000 Pick'em free-to-play game on BetMGM. BetMGM is also giving out an odds boost token on the first 4 games tonight. Use your token to score a bigger payout if your first 4 bet wins. Speaking of giving things out, how about we give out some SportsLine picks? We got a few of them before we get to some more picks from Larry and myself. Here are the SportsLine picks. Minnesota Wild -1. That is Matt Severance, -111. That's the NHL, of course. And then we go to the NBA with 2 guys that are red hot fire. Anthony Simons over 21.5 points at -110. That's from Prop Stars. And then we got PJ Washington over 26.5 points and rebounds, -110 from Prop Bet Guy. Prop Stars, Prop Bet Guy, Matt Severance. That's 3 picks, 2 in the NBA, 1 in the NHL. We got more NBA. We got more college basketball. We got a little bit of golf to deliver to you right after this message from our partners.
One of golf's elite courses, Quail Hollow, hosts the game's top players at the PGA Championship this May on CBS.
All right, we're back on the Early Edge, brought to you by BetMGM. Let's go to golf real quick. I am tempted, if you watched the Early Wedge yesterday, and again, we're going to have the Early Wedge right after this show as well, the live show with me, Rick, and Patrick. I gave out 4 first-round leaders. Just to recap, it was, taking a look here, I think it was Michael Kim, Bridgman, Highsmith, and Danny Walker, all at odds between like 35 and 80 to 1. I'm considering adding Joseph Bramlett. He's 80 to 1, by the way, at BetMGM. That's where you're going to get the best first-round leader odds on Joseph Bramlett. Anyway, I got him in a round 1 3 ball as well. He's going out in the very early morning, and that's what we want in the first-round leader department because the wind is going to pick up a little earlier than expected, and it's going to affect some of the morning wave, but certainly all of the afternoon. So you want to relegate your first-round leaders mostly to the morning and preferably the early morning. Caveat, weather can change, obviously. I like Joseph Bramlett plus 125 over Patrick Fishburne and Kevin Kisner. Bramlett's not really one of my guys. About 4 or 5 years ago, he kind of was. He was a first-round leader guy for me, and actually he has hit a first-round leader for me in the way distant past. Long and short of it is, Kisner is not a factor here. Anybody who's been following Kevin Kisner knows he's not going to factor in, shouldn't factor in to this round 1 3 ball. Patrick Fishburne is a talent, but he's been kind of all over the place with the ball striking. Joseph Bramlett has really shown some flashes lately, particularly in Puerto Rico. He's been good on this course before. I think he's probably he's got distance, should keep it in the fairway, at least a little bit better than Patrick Fishburne and Kisner. The putter is the real big problem for Bramlett, but against these two at plus 125, I'm willing to take the risk. Give me Joseph Bramlett in a round 1 3 ball over Patrick Fishburne and Kevin Kisner. We move from golf to the NBA and to college basketball. Larry, you have the floor.
Yeah, starting off with a Lakers prop, Austin Reeves over 5.5 assists. You can still get this. It is juiced, and I know some books are at 6.5, but he had 13 assists when he played the Nuggets just a week ago. LeBron is out. 5 games without LeBron, he is averaging 7.6 assists. The Nuggets happen to give up the most assists in the entire NBA. I mean, you could also look at his PRA. He went absolutely ballistic in that game last week against the Nuggets. But I like the assist angle because somebody besides Luka has to be the playmaker. And to me, that's going to be Austin Reeves. And then a little bit later on, 11 p.m. Eastern start, Utah Valley Wolverines. They let me down against Grand Canyon, but I think they can hang with San Francisco. San Francisco had a very good season. They even beat St. Mary's, but they lost one of their top 2 players, Marcus Williams, all first-team West Coast Conference guard. The school's withholding him. It's an eligibility issue. There has not been any more information, but he was held out of the West Coast Conference tournament. Nobody seems to expect that he's going to suddenly play in the NIT. There's been no news about that. And this Utah Valley team, they had an amazing year. They split with Grand Canyon the regular season, couldn't get it done, but they're excited to be in the NIT. They went deep in the NIT a couple of years ago. I just love the way they play, and I think they can hang with San Francisco.
Okay. We got Utah Valley plus 7.5 and Austin Reeves over 5.5 assists. Eric David has a question. I think this is really, Tom, for you and Larry. It says, anything for those of us who can't bet college player props? Was there anything you saw tonight, Tom, that from a spread or total standpoint, not as an official play, this is not what I'm asking, but anything you were like, I would lean that way over this way, for example?
Yeah, I would lean Xavier. I'm waiting on this because I want Xavier versus Illinois. That's kind of, so I'm going to be rooting for Xavier. I'm just not betting them. I'm waiting until Friday if they get this win. I think the problem with Texas is they're just so, they have talent, but you just don't know how they're going to play. They're a tough team. I haven't bet a lot of Texas games this year because they're a tough team to read. And that's what scares me tonight, kind of like the North Carolina thing where they're more talented than their record. And maybe we see that tonight. They do have a size in the paint. But I think I like the way Xavier played down the stretch. It was a team I was hoping would get in the tournament because I thought they could win a couple of games. So that's the way I lean tonight.
Larry, real quick, before you give out your take here, the betting show is really important from yesterday because not only did we give out a lot of round 1 bets, all our favorite round 1 bets, Larry gave out his, Tom, Chip Patterson, Mike McClure, but Tom really spoke to what it means to wait until the second round and wait till some of these teams have some games under them. And that's where Tom likes to attack. I really implore everybody to go back, watch that on YouTube or listen to it on the podcast, listen to the bracket fill-in show too, because you're filling out your early edge bracket. But I think that take from Tom is really important. Exercise some patience, particularly in round 1, if you don't have a strong take one way or the other. Larry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just going to ask Tom because he wants Xavier against Illinois. What number are you hoping to get if Xavier advances? Would you pounce on with Xavier?
Yeah, the hypothetical number right now is 5.5. I think Mike McClure said it on our show that he thought it would be 3.5. That's what I think. I think anything over a possession I would take with a Xavier. They've played a ton of close games this year. Illinois is another one of those volatile teams. I just think there's something not right with the Illini. 2 teams I don't think are right that people are going to want to bet are Illinois and UConn. I think there's things outside beyond the court with those teams that just they're not meshing. So I wouldn't be surprised if either of these teams beat Illinois, but if we could get 3.5 or more with Xavier, I would jump right on it.
Josh Katera says, Casale is a god. He came in clutch last night, loving these last 2 weeks. If you like the last 2 weeks, hopefully you can look forward to the next 2 years and beyond, because this group and all the other groups that cover all the sports, really sophisticated takes and a lot of winning ways over here. B Simp says, can you guys start putting the player's team next to the player name, please? Like for props, for example. We will look into doing that. That's a very valid suggestion, probably makes it easier. And as long as it kind of fits on the screen, we can probably make that addition courtesy of Ben. All right. Before we get out of here to the recap screen, Mikey B, was there anything you saw in the chat NBA related that you needed to respond to?
I did see this Tobias Harris over 15 plus points at plus 105. They're playing the Heat tonight. The Heat have been really, really bad. They've lost 8 games in a row. The first time that's ever happened with Eric Spoelstra as their head coach, that they've lost that many games in a row. I don't know. I think this game could be a blowout. I think the Pistons could win this easily, which might mean we don't see a lot of Tobias Harris in the second half. I'd be a little cautious there.
Very interesting. I long for the days where I can rep Spoelstra as the best coach in the NBA. In his defense, he doesn't exactly have the roster, but usually he finds a way to
stink. And Andrew Wiggins is in and out of the lineup. Their big get in the Jimmy Butler trade. He can't stay healthy. So it's a really tough spot for them right now.
It is. I mean, even when they had Jimmy Butler, it wasn't a top 10 roster by any means, and they were making it far into the playoffs. So I still credit Spoelstra for being one of the top coaches in the NBA. Tyler Graham says, "Morning, EE fam. Today is my birthday, and my son's is tomorrow. Let's get some winners." I'm sorry I missed that. Tyler Graham, happy birthday. And tomorrow, hopefully you'll be in here because we're going to say happy birthday to your son too. Please let us know what his name is. If you don't mind us giving him a shout out, we'd be happy to. Tyler, again, happy birthday. I did notice some people in the chat saying happy birthday. I forgot about it. I didn't realize it was with Tyler. Tyler, hopefully you can stick with us at 10:30 as well. We'll give you a happy birthday there when we do the early wedge live show for the Valspar. We like to have some fun, but the whole show is answering your questions. So hopefully some of you can be in there. Let's get to the recap screen before we get everybody out of here. Good amount of picks. Mine, however, is for tomorrow morning. The reason it's being given out today, it's one of the first people to go out tomorrow morning before our show tomorrow at 10 o'clock. So round 1 3-ball, Joseph Bramlett plus 125 over Patrick Fishburne and Kevin Kisner. Mikey B's got Devin Booker over 26.5 points at minus 105, and Trey Jones over 17.5 points and assists at minus 115. Larry Hartstein, Austin Reeves over 5.5 assists at minus 130, and Utah Valley plus 7.5 at minus 110. And then Tom Casale, Arthur Kaluma from Texas, here we go, over 6.5 rebounds at plus 115. Did Ben just make that on the fly, or did we already have that? I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure Ben just did that. So we're already fielding your suggestions and acting on them. Let's take a look at the SportsLine picks. We've got Matt Severance with the Minnesota Wild -1 at minus 111. NBA pick from Prop Stars, Anthony Simons over 21.5 points at minus 110. And prop bet guy who has been on fire, PJ Washington over 26.5 points and rebounds at minus 110. Well, Liddy says it all. He says, have a great day, everybody. Good luck. And I'm checking because Liddy was in here earlier. Thank you, Liddy, saying, hey, we got to get to over 100 likes show to show. We got it yesterday. We got it today. We got a lot of people watching, and we just got over the 100 likes mark. So we appreciate all of that participation. Let's have a great Wednesday, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow on Thursday on this show. We'll see you in 5 minutes on that other show I keep referencing, the Early Wedge. And we want you to have a good Wednesday regardless. Let's have a good recap screen. Let's have positive vibes on behalf of Larry, on behalf of Mikey B, Tom Casale, and of course, Ben's on the 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s, and all of you. It's been a great day. Let's have a better day the rest of the way. This is the Early Edge. I'm the Counselor of Cash, and we rest our case.